Hello everyone, this is Scat bringing you another game from the Burswood Super Amateur StarCraft 2 Invitational held in November of 2011. And here we are with game number 2. Well, actually this was game number 1, but I stuffed up the order like an absolute boss, and this will be game number 2 for our sake. Between Stacey, the red Zerg, spawning on the right side of Shattered Temple, and on the left side at cross positions we have Hiphop, the blue Terran. This was the winners final, well, winners semi-final, round of 4, something or other, and we will slow this down. Of course, Stacey pulling off the double extractor trick to go up to 12 drones, one of his favourite little strategies. We see it out of him almost every game. Queen dancing around, trying to impress this SCV, but the SCV's having none of it, just looking around the base and getting out of there, going down the ramp. Wall-in is complete, driving away that Overlord and not taking it out. 7 HP, could only take 2 more shots on that Overlord. Very lucky to escape, but will he? These Marines, they're out on a mission, they want blood, hunting Overlords. Are they going to get it? Yes they are. Taking down that Overlord, pop like the Hindenburg. Actually the Hindenburg was much more explosive than that, but nonetheless, the Zerg are trying to be impressive, trying to look like the Hindenburg. They're taking lessons from our Soviet predecessors. Not trying to say that Zerg are communist, but I'd say that drones are not on a very good hourly wage. They all look very unhappy. Look at their faces. Oh dear. I wouldn't want to be a drone. You've got 6 eyes and all you get to look at is a blue mineral patch and a big ugly hatchery all day. Anyway, as we come out now, we've got some Zerglings moving across the field. Of course, with this wall in, 3 Marines behind the wall, they are not going to do much unless this supply depot does not get raised. But the supply depot does get raised, and the Zerglings are chilling at the watchtower anyway, completely perplexed by the sparkly lightning. Meanwhile, of course, I've just picked up my brand new computer, which is all nice and shiny and recordy and stuff. So looking at these settings on Expert, Extreme, Ultra, something or other, something really high. And it's nice, I'm kind of perplexed, just like these Zerglings looking at the watchtower as well. Anyway, moving around the map, we've got a Raven coming out for the blue Terran player Hiphop. And it looks like he's got double starport with double tech lab. Very interesting. We've got a Banshee and a Raven coming out. Well, you don't see this often, folks. He is supply blocked. Can't quite get this Hellion out. Only on 35 supply. How many harvesters do we have for each of these players? We've got 22 for the Zerg, 24 for the Terran, so the Zerg really needs to drone up. He hasn't been under any real pressure, so really needs to get those drones building. Do we see any drones on the way? No. Roaches and melee attack. What are we going to get out? Are we going to go for some kind of roach Zergling push with 2 base? I don't know. He really does need to drone up though. Getting some more drones out now. Burrow on the way. Of course, getting Burrow early in the game like this normally looks like you're going to be going for a tunneling claws kind of build. It's very standard to get that Burrow, tunneling claws and mass roach, because it's a very nice little sneaky way to play, especially if your opponent doesn't have detection, which of course is not the case because there is a Raven sitting out the front, which is incredibly odd and strange to have it this early at the game. But nevertheless, we're going for Hellion, Banshee, Marine, Raven. Why not? Why not, I say. We've got 3 Banshees out now, just starting to move out now. I don't think they've been scouted before, so suddenly having 3 Banshees knocking on your doorstep, even without cloak, is going to be an absolute pain in the ass and a big surprise to just about any Zerg player. Of course, Zerg having possibly the worst early game air defense other than Mass Queen, and if you don't build the extra Queens, you're not going to be able to defend against Queens. Defend against Banshees with only Queens, of course. It takes 2 Queens to take down a Banshee, or if you've got a couple of transfusers, you can probably take out 3 Banshees with 5 or so Queens if you've got enough transfusers, but looks like we could be in a bit of trouble. They may get scouted by overlords, but they're all just moving away from these Banshees' path. Might just spot it as it comes through here, hovering around. Banshees just flying past the blimps, wondering why can't we attack them. Spore Crawler's down in a fairly odd place. He's got 2 in there, but they're not going to defend the drones full time. Here we go, 5 Banshees out in the main. They're just going to chew up all of the drones, but the drones burrow. Scan comes down. He really needs this Raven out here. They're going to try and fight the Spore Crawler straight up. Banshees are not very tough, only 140 health and no armor. However, focusing down the lair, he's in big trouble. Infestors spit out a couple of infested Terrans, and Hydralisks are there. They will drive this attack away. And it looks like he didn't quite do as much damage as he needed to. There are only 10 drones in the main, but there are plenty down at the expo. And 4 Banshees coming in now. One of them's going to get picked off before the Queen goes down, but there are no Spore Crawlers here at all, and Zerglings cannot do anything about this. He's going to have to bring in the Hydralisks again. They're pretty fast on creep, but they're just not quick enough to catch these Banshees. And no Fungals, of course, not having enough energy quite yet. It takes 75 energy to cast a Fungal, and these 2 poor Infestors can only hope to spit out an infested Terran apiece. So the Banshees all go home. They're all in the yellow, so they should hopefully get repaired up. 2 more Hellions. Oh, hang on. We've got 7 Hellions, 2 more Banshees, Raven, and Marines here. This is actually a substantial force. It could do a lot of damage if it had already pushed out and hit around now. But more Hydralisks coming out. These will stay off any possible harassment from these Banshees for as long as they live. But it would be nice to get just a Spore Crawler in the mineral line here, just to stop any Banshee counterattacks or harassments from coming in at the expo without needing to rely on the Hydralisks. Cloak is about halfway done. Meanwhile, Zerg missile attacks and double Queen coming up as well. 3 more barracks, so it looks like we could go into a more standard kind of MM ball rather than this crazy Banshee Hellion composition. But they haven't even pushed out yet, so this composition could be anything. It could be Mass Raven, and it would not affect the game at the moment because they haven't done anything. On that note, Hip-Hop is moving out. Let's see, we've got Groove Spine's Hydralisk range on the way, as well as the missile attacks is half done, so that may be finished by the time this attack inevitably stops dancing around in their base. The expansion is up for Hip-Hop, and those mules really kicking in, going to give them such a huge advantage when they start dropping mass mules at the expansion. Of course, Terrans do not get mined out in their main quite as quickly because they can drop all of their mules at further expansion. What do we got down here? We've got a hatchery coming down. Well, this is a little ninja he's skipping 3 expansions. 1, 2, just scanning the high yield there to see if the expansion's been taken. Doesn't look like he's scanned this one yet. But here we go, taking the ninja expansion down here in the south main. Interesting play. Very difficult to defend, especially when you know that your opponent has gone for Banshees. So I don't know if I'm in support of this or not. But we will see how it pans out. The Terran force, of course, just still sitting here. A 3rd command center going down, and it looks like he might, maybe, nope, false alarm, guys, he's not pushing out. Overlords chilling in the corner. They don't want to go down like the Hindenburg, as we saw before. These 2 not quite joining the party. Meanwhile, in the base, we've got some Mutalisks coming out. Mutalisk, +1 attack. All very nice, very standard. Hydra, Infestor, Roach, Muta. Not exactly what you see all the time. Of course, we do have the missile upgrades, so Roach, Hydra, very powerful. These Infestors up to full energy now, so they've got 4 fungal growths between them, plus a couple of infested Terran to round it out. as long as they can stay alive, but it looks like the Hellions coming in now. Hydralisk picked them off instantly with that first attack, and the Mutalisks are here. The only thing that can attack up are the Marines, so these Mutalisks are going to be given pretty much free reign. Clutch Fungal goes down on all of the Hellions. Second, third Fungal's getting all of the units, but this ground army gets roasted alive by Hellions. All of these Mutalisks can clean up these low health Marines, not a problem, and have free reign over the rest of this army, but so much damage is going to be done before that. Will the hatchery go down? It looks like it will. The hatchery falls. All of these Hellions are on red or orange health. A few SCVs out there to repair, but there are just not enough Mutalisks to be able to do this. Zerglings come out, but against Blue Flame Hellions, they are just going to die before they even reach melee. You need to send in those Mutalisks. There's nothing that can shoot up. Here they come. Finally, the Mutalisks are going to drive it away. Hiphop saying, I've done enough damage. I've denied the expansion. He doesn't know about this south expansion yet, so he thinks the Zerg is still on one base, having scanned the high yield earlier. And he's just going to very happily take a third off this, I would imagine. Will this orbital command lift up at any point? It would be nice to see either these rocks or the high yield rocks be destroyed by this standing army. Here we go, he's lifted off and he's floating to the corner expansion. So it'd still be nice to see these rocks destroyed so he can transfer SCVs up. But this is only a replay. I can't change it, I can't influence the way this game is going. Meanwhile, Stacey retaking his natural expansion, going back up to 3 bases, and his south ninja expansion just starting to get saturated now. It's got a queen up, but no inject. Just going to try and recover from that damage done earlier. Does have a lot of drones here. Not often you see Zergs really with this many drones in their main base. Normally they build a lot of drones, obviously, but they spread them out to multiple bases a lot earlier than, say, a Protoss or a Terran, which will fully saturate a base before really moving on. But here we go, the Mutalisks are out, doing so much damage against this Hellion Banshee army, but 2 Vikings come out. He needs to come out and focus the Vikings or run away, and with this many Marines coming out, looks like running away is the best option. Of course, they have stimmed once, that's why they're all on 45 health, and there are no medevacs, so every stim is going to be weakening his entire army by about 17% or so. Here we go, the Hellions very fast going in first into the Muta Death Trap. The drones go down to gas. Once again, all they want to do is mine gas. Keep getting interrupted by flamethrowers. Very rude. And more Vikings joining the fray. Vikings alone will not be able to kill these Mutalisks, but with the Marines as well, they should be able to hold. And let's just see, we're getting pot shots taken. Mutalisks are going down. We're down to 3 Mutalisks, and there's the GG from Stacey. So that was game number 2 or game number 1, depending on what order you want to count it in. But Stacey has tapped out in both games, and Hip Hop takes the series 2-0 to advance to the winners bracket finals. So that's it for me, and I will be back with another game shortly.